Hi, I'm Tansy Brooke, and today I'm joined by Dickon Posnett from Argent Energy. Dickon, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Tansy.
So can you tell me a little bit about Argent Energy?
We produce biofuels. We're committed to decarbonisation of transport, particularly in all sectors. Currently, we're working on biodiesel made from wastes. We have plants in Scotland, England, Amsterdam. We produce about 240,000 tonnes of waste-based biodiesel every year that goes into the vehicles around Europe.
And can you tell me a little about the history of the company?
Yes, Argent was born out of a crisis about at the turn of the century where we had BSE in UK and Europe, which was mad cow disease. And that resulted in a lot of waste animal fats not having any home and having to go to landfill. The entrepreneurs who started Argent built the first biodiesel plant in Scotland, showing that it could be possible to make biodiesel out of animal fat. So that's a direct replacement for diesel.
You've been in the alternative energy space for a while, and I think in many ways EMEA and the UK are on the forefront of initiatives around decarbonization and implementing sustainability in businesses. What have you seen evolve, and where are we now?
The evolution is gathering pace. It's driven by two fundamental issues. One is climate change, and certainly the feeling here in Europe is that climate change is such a serious issue. Recently, with the invasion of Ukraine by Russia and all the implications on energy, sanctions, etc., it's not a new driver because it's actually a sort of reimagining of an old driver, which is energy security. So we've actually got two things driving us at the moment. The European Commission has recently published what's called the Fit for 55 package, a series of legislative documents all about sustainability, all about reducing greenhouse gases in all the energy sectors. It's driving innovation like we've never seen before. It's driving investment more and more. In the United States, you've got the California Air Resources Board and the EPA, both driving sustainability in terms of renewable energy. If we look at what happened in the UK, first of all, when reporting requirements were put on public companies, and the recent announcement by the SEC that public companies are going to have to report on sustainability is where we were about 5 or 6 years ago. Then there were targets to be met for sustainability. You had to hit the target. If you don't hit targets, there's fines, there's tradable carbon tickets. The levels of organizations that are integrated into the system start at the high level, and they've worked down to the lower denominators and the smaller companies, including now private companies.
Dickon, what are your thoughts on sort of how finance is approaching and can approach sustainability issues?
What have we got to do? So compliance. And if I don't do it, what's going to be the penalty? And there will be penalties. There are penalties. There are also commercial risks. There's reputational risks. On the other side, there are benefits to be had if you get it right. In Scotland, where we live, the Scottish government awarded a grant to bus service operators, which was preferential if they used a renewable fuel over a diesel fuel. One or two companies grabbed that opportunity and used all the budget up of the Scottish government for this particular element and made some serious money out of it. At the same time of saving hundreds of thousands of tons of greenhouse gas emissions because they were using bio.
Different lines of business think about sustainability through a different lens. How do you think finance and operations professionals should be thinking about sustainability and climate change?
There's no doubt in my mind at all that this is not going to go away, firstly, and it is going to increase the pressure for sustainability, for accountability for your sustainability as well. And that is spreading globally. there are a lot of rewards for getting it right. You're going to be first to the action. You're going to have a reputational benefit. To be the one that is not doing it is going to be painful.
Sounds like a really exciting environment for your employees as well.
Many, if not all of the employees or all the prospective candidates are taken up by this idea of doing something tangible to deal with this massive crisis. I think being in this industry is really exciting. And I'm not surprised where engineers, finance professionals, supply chain professionals, chemists, not surprised they want to get involved in this at all.
How do you see technology supporting the larger goals of the organization?
It was when we went from one plant to two plants that we noticed the systems really creaking and, without any doubt, holding us back. It became absolutely clear that we had to step up and get technology to assist us to be able to communicate between the different parts of the business and for different areas of the business to communicate to finance smoothly, efficiently, accurately, so that we can then roll that out on a bigger scale. Different products, different customers, different supply chains, etc. It's fundamental. It's absolutely essential.
This is a really difficult time for all of us. I think there's a lot of fear. I think there's a lot of feeling of helplessness, feeling like we have huge problems to solve and there's not a clear path on how to solve those problems. But it also seems like we're at a stage of opportunity. And I'm curious, what's your point of view on how we can reimagine our businesses and our communities going forward?
The opportunity for the finance sector, whether it's an individual level or at a sectoral level, I think are huge. The companies that have found themselves, at the forefront or involved deeply in renewables, sustainability, are companies where the entrepreneurs have joined forces with the finance. They've understood the market. They've brought all the factors to bear, and they've made a calculation on it being a good business prospect.
Dickon, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Tansy.
And thank you.